people the other day crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, you don't pay taxes in America. He is appealing to his people. Shauri yenu bwana. This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Instead of crying, to jiulize, what are we going to do? Haya ametoa hiyo pesa, sasa tutafanya namna gani jameni? What are we going to do? Yeah? To support ourselves. Because nobody is going to continue holding out a hand there to give you. It is time for us to use our resources for the right things. We are the ones who are using them for the wrong things.
Yes, I have seen murder in different parts of the world. Former president of Kenya, more countries who are upset that Trump won't give blank checks anymore to foreign governments. Why are you crying? Like you can see here, Trump recently released a statement pertaining to this, like this is what they have cut so far. When you take a look at this, 50 million worth of condoms to Gaza, 181 million in DI contract, 1.7 billion payment to foreign organizations, including 40 million to WHO. This is what they have cut so far. So you can understand exactly why Trump is doing this. This is not the first time. When Trump came in during his first administrations, though it was not all countries, there are certain places I saw, crying that Trump cut aid. Now going into a different story.
The Trump administration has a new mandate for millions of federal workers who have fallen in love with working from home in your PJs. Return to the office or resign.
I like the emphasis. Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy has the details on the buyouts being offered to those employees. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning. The feds, the new Trump team, thinks they could save $100 billion taxpayer dollars because they think that many people, that many federal government employees are going to reply to an email they got last night with the word resign. Part of that email says, if you resign under this program, you will retain all pay and benefits regardless of your daily workload and will be exempted from all applicable in-person work requirements until September 30th, 2025, or earlier if you choose to accelerate your resignation for any reason. Some back-of-the-napkin math, there are 2 million total federal workers. 6% of federal employees work full-time in the office. They think 200,000 would take this buyout. That's how they get to $100 billion in savings. The Trump team did not single anybody out with this email last night. Everybody got it. But they did single out General Mark Milley. He had his security detail taken away last night, and he could lose a star in retirement if it is determined that he was undermining the chain of command during the first Trump administration. A spokesman for the Pentagon now says the secretary informed General Milley today that he is revoking the authorization for his security detail and suspending his security clearance as well. The secretary has also directed the DoD IG to conduct an inquiry into the facts and circumstances surrounding General Milley's conduct so that the secretary may determine whether it is appropriate to reopen his military-grade review determination. Milley's access, now limited. Access to the White House briefing room, on the other hand, now wide open.
We welcome independent journalists, podcasters, social media influencers, and content creators to apply for credentials to cover this White House.
Yes, when you take a look at this tweet, President Trump just announced that all federal employees who don't show up to in-person work by February 6 will be terminated. We think a very substantial number of people will not show up to work, and therefore our government will get smaller and more efficient, and that is what we have been looking to do for many decades. Frankly, this is an absolute game changer. Like you can see, this is a clip. He made it clear that if you don't show up to this date, it is over for you. I saw some federal employees melting down social media, like, oh, how will I start now? They are used to working at home. This is the time they have to show up. And this decision Trump took up here, it is vital, important. Yeah, looking into that department Elon Musk is working with, I believe this is actually one of their main goals. To me, I appreciate these decisions. Working at home during that COVID period, it could have ended ever since. I don't know why it had to proceed till then.
It goes back to the first day of the Trump administration. You were in the Oval Office with the president and you asked him a bunch of questions, and one of them was about drones, and he turned to Susie Wiles and he said, can we get something for them on drones? And yesterday, the press, that's actually how Karoline started the press conference.
Yeah, some good constituent services there, because it was only a week after I asked the president what the deal was with those drones over New Jersey that we heard so much about, and now we hear nothing about. And she went out there with a message from the president who did get to the bottom of it, or at least got to the bottom of what they can say publicly. And he said these were FAA-authorized drone flights that then were joined by a bunch of hobbyists who were putting up their own drones to see what was going on, but they were not adversarial. That is a huge news story that obviously there's so much going on. There are so many huge news stories, but that is a really, really big one. And I don't know why the Biden administration couldn't just have said that.
Exactly right. We're scratching our heads. Why wouldn't he just say that and say that?
Especially because there were military bases in New Jersey with the ability to scramble fighter jets and helicopters that were going up there. Nobody from the Biden White House could call and say, hey, these are FAA authorized, joined by some hobbyists. It's not. Yesterday, it seemed like for the reporters in the room, and I was not there, Jackie Heinrich was there, but it seemed like for the reporters in the room and for Karoline, everybody was just kind of feeling each other out. They wanted to see how far they could push her with questions and how she would answer. And it's going to take time for reporters in the room and also for Karoline to develop a rhythm. But yesterday,
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
What everyone is saying, this is the first time that she's been she may be. But my point is that job would not maybe have been open to her.
No, I understand. I just wanted to clarify that. But on the issue of...
Yes, Megyn Kelly is melting down because Joy Behar said this. The view Joy Behar, Karoline, was only hired by Donald Trump because she is a 10. You know, that's what it is. How disrespectful is this? This is what Megyn Kelly wrote. Not true, and obviously meant to diminish Karoline. Let's face it. This administration, its supporters are making America hot again. It's amazing. So Joy Behar want to take over what we usually say, like they hire these people based on this, based on that. These DI ideologies, they are struggling to turn it around. This is what this lady is saying. Now going back into what Peter said here about the drones. When I posted a video about this topic, some people were not okay with what the Trump administration is putting out. Like, this is not really okay. People already had a different impression about that drones issue. So Trump coming out to say it was just FFA authorizing for research purposes. People don't want to hear that. They are not happy. If Trump is telling you something, you should actually believe. The Biden administration did not mention this to any person, and people were confused. So, will you be telling me that Trump is also lying? I don't believe so. This is the simple truth. This is what happened. It was just normal for them to stop that tensions in people, and we didn't see that. For people who usually question why I put small clip, it is for the algorithm. So when you see videos after this, you can even stop here. You must not watch to the end. God bless you, and share the video.
We keep on talking about criminals and immigrants being criminals. And I just want people to understand what the facts are and the stats are, is that undocumented immigrants are much less likely to have committed crimes than American citizens. American citizens commit more crimes than anyone who is undocumented. I also want to make the point that an undocumented immigrant is not a criminal because he or she is undocumented. That is a civil offense. So to call people illegal is, in and of itself, I think, xenophobic and racist.